Morning everyone, this is Mr. Ndabezita once again, and we are still in software development. But as you know, previously in our tutorial, this is where we are. We dealt with all this. Let me just get rid of this. Okay, so let me just get rid of this so that we can work on something new. So let me just get rid of this one. Okay, and I remember last time we dealt with abstract classes. We created methods that accept object and everything. Okay, that it's fine. So this time we will be looking at interfaces. Very important, how to create and how to use an interface. So the ability to inherit from more than one class is called multiple inheritance. Okay, multiple inheritance is a difficult concept and programmers encounter many problems when they try to use it. For example, the variables and the methods in the parent class may have identical names, creating conflict when the child class uses one of these names. So my question is, if I can use different names in the parent class, and for every class that inherits from that, I provide different names for that, will this be a solution? Why couldn't they do that? If there are some identical names in both of the classes, from the parent class and the subclass, during multiple inheritance, if that creates problems, if the names being used are the same, why can't they just use different names? This is one question that I ask myself. Okay, but nevertheless, that is fine. Additionally, as you already have learned, a child class constructor must call its parent class constructor. That's exactly what we saw when we created a cat. It must call the constructor of the parent. The cat calls the constructor of the parent, as much as the dog calls the constructor of the parent during inheritance. So we saw that, we know exactly what they are talking about. Okay, and then they go on to say, when two or more parents exist, this becomes a more complicated task. To which class should the base refer when a child class has multiple parents? I don't see a problem if we have multiple parents and you have used different methods names and but if we do that, that will get rid of polymorphism, isn't it so? So I think I understand exactly what they are saying. That will get rid of polymorphism. So of course all what they are saying is making sense. So it becomes very complicated if you want to use multiple inheritance for the reasons that have been provided. Very much making a sense, in the sense that we want to use polymorphism, all right, taking many forms of the very same thing. Okay, that is fine. For all of these reasons, multiple inheritance is prohibited in C#. However, C# does provide an alternative to multiple inheritance. Which alternative will this be? Known as an interface. This is exactly what we will be looking at. Much like an abstract class, so there are similarities in the two. An interface is a collection of methods and perhaps other members that can be used by any class, as long as the class provides a definition to override the interface's abstract definitions. We saw that when we used abstract classes, when we created animal and we declared the animal as an abstract class. We saw that every member of the family that adopts or that inherit from the parent must provide an implementation for the method. So this is not something new. Within an abstract class, some methods can be abstract while others need not be. Unfortunately, we did not create multiple methods inside of an abstract class. We only declared one which was abstract, but you can have methods inside of the abstract class which are not abstract. This is just what they are saying. Within an interface, all methods are abstract. So this is a must. When you declare a class to be abstract, all of your methods must be abstract. You create an interface much as you create an abstract, as much as you could create an abstract class definition, except that you use the keyword interface instead of an abstract class. Okay, that it's fine. That was a theory behind what we are going to do. So of course I want to create this interface, so I will just come here and I will just say add, and I will say new item, and I will call this abstract class iWorkable. So this will just be called iWorkable, and this is a class, and I want to call this class an interface. So I will first make it public interface. So this is how you declare an interface. So let me just come here and just rename this iWorkable. Very good. Alright, so this is my interface. It's public so that I can access it, and it's called iWorkable. Very important. And inside of this interface, what I'm just simply going to do is to have a method. It will be of type string, and I will just call this work. And with an interface, you must terminate with a colon. So remember, with an abstract class inside of the method body, we have nothing, but with an interface, this is a string, it's a method, and it's just work. So this is how you would just declare and create a method inside of an interface. Okay, that's fine. When any class implements iWorkable, it must also include a work method that returns a string, because this is a string. Very important. So that is fine. Now I want us to do something. I want us to go here and create a new item, which is a class, and I will call this class, I could have said interface, but it's fine. I can just say this is an employee, and I can just press enter, and this is the class that I have. It's an employee, right? And then I want this employee class to inherit from iWorkable. This is exactly what I want. So let me just say end class, and we have a warning sign there. Employee does not implement interface member iWorkable dot work. It doesn't implement this method, and as long as the implementation is not provided, it will still show that red flag. Okay, that's fine, we will do that just in a sec. So the very first thing that I want to do, I want to create a constructor, a public. It has the same name as the name of the class. Now it will accept a string name, that is fine. And then from there I will just say let me just say I have a problem because previously we created an employee class with a get and a set. So let me just come here and just create a property public string name. It will be an automatic property get and set. Right, so that is fine. And then I can just come here and I can just say name, it's equals to the name that was passed in. Okay, that is fine. And then let me just have a public string work. So let me let me just come here. That's my constructor, by the way. Okay, let me just say public string, and this is now work, and I am providing an implementation for what? For this method. Where is it? This method inside of the interface. So here I am, public string work. Not all code path returns a value, so what I want to return, I want to return a string, because inside the work method in the interface it returns a string, and I just want to say I do my job. This is just what I want to return. All right, that is fine, and that's okay. This is just all what I want to do here. I want to go inside of the animal, and I also want the animal to inherit from the I workable. All right, now remember, this is the parent class. Very important, this is the parent class. Right, inside there I know I already have a constructor. There it is, no problem with this. Inside of this constructor we have a public string, a get, and we do not have a set for that. That's also fine. And then what is it that I want to do inside of this abstract class? Now I know that I need to provide an implementation. I must provide an implementation for that. So what I will do, I will just come here. What I will do, inside of this animal, public abstract string speak. Now I want us to check, I am inside of the animal, and I have I had this method. Okay, that's fine. And then when I am here, what I want to do is the following, because when we hover over this, it says animal does not implement interface member I workable.work. Okay, So that is fine. We provided some functionality inside of the employee implemented this method. That is fine. I am inside of the animal now, and inside of the animal there's just one thing that I want to do. I have a private string. Okay, I have assigned everything, there's no problem. I have a property as we have it there. Now inside of this is what I have, and it's just a string works. So I want to go to the animal and I want to have a public abstract string, but it will not be speak. Now I will say work, and I will do this. And why does the error disappears? Why is the error disappearing? It is very important that we notice something here. This is an abstract class, and because this is an abstract string, and I don't have to provide an implementation for the iWorkable. Why? Let's go here. I have a method, and as you can see that in this method is public, sorry, it's internal, it's a string, and this method, because the animal is an abstract class, I am taking this work, and when I make that abstract, this method, remember, because the class is abstract and I have a public abstract string which is called work, whatever that inherits from animal will provide what now? They will have to provide an implementation for work. So inside of the animal class, I do not provide an implementation for iWorkable. What I am doing by saying public abstract string, I am saying whoever child that will inherit from animal, allow them to provide an implementation for this. So let's go inside of the cat. Now we have a problem. Cat does not implement an inherited abstract member animal.work. Let's go inside of the dog. The dog also has the same problem. So dog and cat will provide an implementation for that. But when I create an interface and I am allowing the animal to inherit from the iWorkable, and I take this method inside of the iWorkable as a public abstract string work, and I just create this method, look exactly how it is. It is the same as that. So this is how you will declare a method inside of an abstract class. We dealt with this. So much of the same. So because I have this inside of the iWorkable interface, when you just say public abstract string work, then you are saying whoever that will inherit from this will provide an implementation. Right, that's fine. I hope we have understood. So let me now go to the dog and allow the dog to implement this method. So how will the dog do that? Now remember, it is public, very important, and I am overriding. You can use the override or you can use the new. And what is it that I want to override? This method. Very, very important, and the error immediately disappears. Now what is it that I want to implement in here? When I am there, I just want to return what now? The dog will say I watch the house. Sorry, this is the implementation. All right, that is fine. And I can also go to the cat and I can provide an implementation for that. So it is public, very important. Override, okay, let me say new. Public new, it's a string. And what is it that I want to override? It is this method of work. Now this is fine, so I will just say return. And what is it that I will be returning? I will just return a string, which will just be I catch mice. Right, public new string, and when I hover over it says cat does not implement an inherited abstract member animal dot work. But we have provided an implementation for that. Okay, let me just, I know what it wants. Let me just say public override this work, and here we are. So why when I use the new, it doesn't want to do it? Okay, let me use override then. Override that. Okay, that is fine. I will just return I catch mice. So in other words, when I go to the main, let me go to the main. Here I am in the main, but let me just do this before I go to the main. Right, let us continue with our work and see how far we can go. Now we are inside of the main, and the very first thing that we would like to do when we are in the main is to create some objects. So I will start first with the employee, and I will just say the employee, it's Bob, and this is equals to new employee. Very important that it accepts one string argument, which is I'll just say this is Bob. Okay, let's not use Bob. Let's try to use the names that are our own. Let's say Ndabezit. Very good. And then secondly, let's just create another object of a dog, and I will just say that your dog's name is Brandy. This is equals to new dog, and I know it accepts one argument, and you are Brandy. Okay, let me come here and just say the visitor. Very good, very good. And here I'll just say Brandy. Very important. And then I will go to the cat, and I will say the name of the cat can be Lulu. equals new cat. It accepts the string, and this will be Lulu. Very important. Okay, that is fine. And then let me just have a write line using static system dot console. Good. And what I will do when I'm there, I'll just have a write line, and in this write line I will just say ndabezitha dot name plus says plus concatenation, and I will just say ndabezitha dot work. Very important. I will do this, copy and just paste that. Let's just cancel, okay, and paste once again. And this time we will not use ndabezitha. This time we will use Brandy, and we will also use Brandy here. And here we will use Lulu there, and I will also use Lulu there. Very important. So let us try to run this code and see exactly what is happening. So we will just wait for the compiler to load up, and then once that is done, then we can have the information. What is it that we have? Ndabezitha says I do my job, Brandy says I watch the house, Lulu says I catch mice. All right, that is fine. We understand all that. Now that is fine. Now suppose I want to come here and invoke this method that accepts an animal. Right, the question is, how will I do that? That is the question that one needs to ask himself. Now if I want to do that, now how do I do that? Now I will just come here and invoke this method. Let me just say, but before, let me just comment these ones. I want to invoke this method, so I will just say display animal, and I know that this method accepts an object, and I will send ndabezitha. Now let's check something. Now when I send ndabezitha in that, which is an animal, when you hover over here, it will say argument 1 cannot convert from abstract class.employee to abstract class.animal. Right, so it cannot do that. Why can't it do that? I have a method here. It accepts an object, and then it says console.writeLine creature name says, and then I have speak. Right, when I come here, argument 1 cannot convert from abstract to abstract class.animal. It cannot do that. Okay, that is fine. And I can try to maybe send Brandy, because it's an object and it's fine. Why is it fine? I want you to check something. Ndabezit. Now Ndabezit, which is the employee, let's check. The employee inherits from iWorkable. The employee never and ever inherited from the animal. It never inherited from the animal, so it doesn't have this speak method, because when you come here, look, speak. So because it doesn't have such a method inside of it, you cannot use the animal. It cannot convert abstract class employee to abstract class dot animal. It doesn't inherit from the animal. Simple. Very, very important stuff that is worthy of noting. So I can send in here Brandy, because Brandy extends animal and Lulu it's an animal. So I can send Brandy, and I can copy this and paste, and I can also send here Lulu. So everything will work just fine. Now it will only display speak. Right, I can come here, copy and paste, and I can say name says, and then instead of invoking speak, I can say dot, and when I press the dot, I want to look for work. There it is, and I can do this, and everything will work just fine. Let's check if this is so. Control F5. So two methods will be displayed. Right, this is what I have for the first one. Brandy says woof, because that's speak. Brandy says I watch the house, that's the second one. Lulu says meow, and Lulu says I catch mice. Fascinating stuff. All right, being that as it may, and assuming that we have all understood what is happening there, and we have used the interface. Now, one thing important: abstract classes and interfaces are similar in that you cannot instantiate concrete objects from either one. So what we are saying is that we have an interface which I call iWorkable. So you can do this: iWorkable workable equals new iWorkable. You can't do this. You cannot. Let's run and check. Cannot create an instance of the abstract type or interface iWorkable. New expression can be simplified. Okay, they always love simplifying things for us. Let's see the simplification, and it's this. So you can't instantiate an interface. Very important. All right. Abstract classes differ from interfaces in that abstract classes can contain non-abstract methods, but all methods within an interface must be abstract. We read this in the previous we read this before we compiled. We read some notes on this. A class can inherit from one a class can inherit from only one base class, whether abstract or not. So a class can inherit from only one base, so only from one parent, whether abstract or not. A class, but it can implement any number of interfaces. So a class can inherit from one parent, but a class can implement as many interfaces as you want. Okay, that is fine. You implement an existing interface because you want a class to be able to use a method that already exists in other applications. Okay, that's fine. That's just the theory behind this. So I'm going to cut it here, guys, and I hope that we have understood exactly how an interface works. So if that is true, let me just complete this tutorial, and I will just see you in the next one.